In case you don't know, Chanel has come out with 8 different palettes. They're retiring their old eyeshadow palettes and they're replacing them with these baked palettes, which are only 0.07 ounces. Come in this little Chanel box, which is lighter than their last eyeshadow palettes, but they kind of they look the same. They actually do look the same in my opinion. They're just baked, so they're lighter. And I had done an earlier video for one of the quads, one of the brown ones, and I'll put a link to that in this video. And then I said I was going to do another video. So they had 8 different palettes come out. Then there was a 9th one called Posy, which I've never seen, honestly, which was a limited edition. And I thought about trying to track it down, and then I thought, well, what's the point, right? I'm going to do a video and everyone's going to want it and it's going to be gone. So I didn't even try. I'm sure it was beautiful, but that's not what I got. So they're called Chanel Live for Ombres Multi-Effect Eyeshadow Palette. $61. And they're new for fall. And so you get your fancy little Chanel pouch. You get a really great little book. I didn't actually follow the book for my looks right now, but you get a really great, cute little book with different looks. You can get a natural look, an almond-shaped look, a smoky look, an intense look. And I also, like I said, was actually at the Chanel counter and I played with all 8, and I kind of want all 8. I obviously won't get them at $61 each, too bad, boo, but what I really like about these, first of all, they are shimmery. So for anyone who doesn't like shimmer, they are shimmery. Some of the colors, I don't know, maybe an occasional one is matte-ish, but they're mostly shimmery, and they're actually leaning toward opaque, but even the ones that have almost kind of like a sheer quality to them are super pigmented in my opinion. There's one in the quad I have right here which almost has no color, but that's for a reason and I'll explain that in a minute. It does have color, just not a lot. It's a highlight shade. But the colors are super complex. They're really, some of them quite unusual and just lovely. I like the pigmentation. That's always, to me, kind of, there are a few things that I judge between good quality and not so great quality, and it doesn't matter about price. What it comes down to me is that the shades actually work with skin tones, like lots of different skin tones, my skin tone. You can have a beautiful shade, but it just doesn't work on the skin, and so I thought Chanel just blew it out of the ballpark with this particular set of 8. If you like shimmery shadows, and then also the wear time. I now almost always use an eyeshadow primer unless I'm really going for like a really muted, very little makeup look, just because I think it applies better, it wears better. With the Chanel ones, the 2 that I have, I've only worn 2. I've played around with all 8, I have only worn 2. With the 2 I had, they lasted a good 8-9 hours without an eyeshadow primer and longer with, and I didn't need an eyeshadow primer to build up the color. So right now I have this. Did I even tell you the color I have? I don't think I did. Oh, that's terrible. I have 232 Tisse Venitien, and this is the green one that's in the ads. And so let's show it to you since I talked so much at the beginning. I'm still playing with the lighting in this room. I like doing the videos with the windows. I have rooms that don't have as much natural light, but I just think makeup looks different in natural light, so I liked doing that, but I just moved. I'm still playing around with the lighting, so the last video was one of the last ones is way too bright, but we'll see how this one is. So this is it, and I think the pictures I've seen online are kind of deceptive, honestly, when it comes to how these look really. So that's also the reason why I take natural light swatches, because I think in the natural light things often look different. Like when I look at this, I see a green, I see kind of a taupe, I see a pink, and then I see like a black charcoal with a little bit of green. No, that is so not true. That is not what they look like. So they don't have names. So we're just gonna have to go 1, 2, and 3. And this is definitely cooler toned and it's more green than I expected it to be. This is the one you see in the ad, and that was one of the things that kind of drew me to it. I always wonder, you know, are they picking the best one for the ad, or I think they're picking the one that's gonna be the most dramatic and show up the best in pictures, right? And so that's what this one was. So I'm gonna start, so that you get the mirror, which I'm gonna try to keep off camera. You get the little, I don't use these little things, I know some people do. So I'm gonna do the first one right here. And So you can see how green this is. And it's described as a green blue, and it's a muted green teal. And it's definitely frosty, it's definitely cool. There's that metallic frost, whatever else, different continuums, shimmer, metallic frost. This one to me is kind of frosty, so it's not quite, when it gets to metallics, they look super, super cool toned on my skin. So this one doesn't quite get to that level. And I'm actually not going to show you yet where I put this on because I want to describe how I put it on first. The next one, these are very finely milled. They blend really easily. They go on really, really well. I didn't have any problem building up color or application. They're creamy, I think, some more so than others. So this is the next color. It's not going to show up on my hand, I can promise you. Maybe it's just a slight pink shimmer. So it's a pink champagne, well, it's described as a silver pink, but to me it's a pink champagne peach kind of color. It's like a warmer pink, but it's still pink, so if that makes sense. So it is kind of cool-ish, leaning slightly warm, only because it has kind of that strange kind of mix of colors. And part of the reason why these have a strange mix of colors is that they do look slightly different as the light shifts on them. So on one angle it looks more pink, and one it looks more peach. Was the same with the first one. At one angle it looks more blue, and the next one it looks more green. So that's why they're sort of ish, kind of. But again, this is more of a cool tone palette. This is kind of a neutral to cool, maybe. And I've got a warm undertone, so it's all how it looks on you. The next one's described as a platinum khaki. Now this I thought was a really cool color. If you can see it there. This is that kind of, I've learned this term, the water on, the sun hitting water kind of an effect. And this just has that super shimmery, almost metallic kind of look. You can see it right there. It's not going to show up as well as on the Natural Light swatches. I just don't think it does. It really needs sun to hit it because it's got all these different colors. It's got like a gold, a silver, a rose gold, khaki, green. It's just all these different kind of colors mixed in. So it's definitely a pewter, but I found that it kind of leaned a little bit green on me. But then other times it looked silver. And this one's a little bit more powdery. It does blend away a little bit more than the others. So you can see I already blended a lot of it away. And what I did is I took that and I put it on the lid, and I'll explain why I did it this way. I was going to start out differently. I was going to put that on the inner part and then put the green on the outer. But then what I liked about this, I have a lot of eye space. And so when I put a lighter color on my lid, I don't look as heavy. Like too much dark on my eyes looks heavy. So I very often like to do kind of one of these lighter shimmery shades on the lid. And so I did that there. And then I took the darker one, the first one, the green, and I'll actually blend this out more when I get done here because it's daytime and I'm going to be going out. But I just wanted the colors to show on the video. And I may have to change my camera location as I look at this. And there's Mo. He decided to join the video. You can't see him, but maybe we'll zoom out later and you can see him. So anyway, I did the khaki color right in here, and then I did the green blue in the corner. And so it's almost like, you can take a matte and add depth without shimmer. It's kind of the same thing. The khaki one is so much more shimmery than the blue-green that it kind of adds that depth. But I did find when I blended these two colors together, they look super different on my wrist. When I blended them together, it was almost harder to see where one ended and the other began, which is a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you look at it. The next one is described as an intense green. Now this is a really kind of a cool color. Again, that's what's so great about these palettes. The colors are just really fun, and then they just work so well together. On both of the palettes I got, that's the one big standout more than anything. Well, the two. The colors are just slightly unusual and really beautiful, but then the colors together, amazing. And that doesn't always happen in palettes. I think that's the strongest selling point. So look at that color. It's like a forest green. Definitely cool, and it has, again, kind of a pearl or a frosty finish to it. And again, it was just great in application, blended beautifully. You can really smoke up this particular palette by using this shade. It's great for that. It's great in the crease. It's great in the outer corner. What I did, because I always like to show all the colors in the videos, and then I also have to think about where I'm going after, and I've got to go to the grocery store and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't really want to do a heavy smoky eye now at all. But what I did with that is I took it under the eye and I lined, and then I put a little bit of that light peachy pink in here, which doesn't show up as like an obvious kind of highlight there because it's so subtle. And then I wet the same shadow and lined the upper lash line with it. So I wanted a softer, kind of smokier line on the underside of my lashes, and then on the upper lashes I wanted a sharper line. And if you wet this particular shadow, you get a really dark color. So that's how that worked. I think that's all I have to say about these. I really love them, and I'm a huge fan of green for eyes. So this to me is just, you know, not something I'm going to buy every day, but to have one or two of these I think is a really fun thing. And so I think that's it. Please subscribe on YouTube. Comments or suggestions, or if you have some of the other colors or the limited edition Posy, I would love to hear. And there are my swatches again. And I'm doing a novel on YouTube called Masks, which is about makeup and the masks we wear. And I will put a link to those chapters in the description. Thank you so much.